Hey! You are listening to the Grumpy Guy BJJ Podcast.
Hey, what's up, guys? Got to take care of a few things before we jump into this week's episode. First, our Ramping Isometrics for BJJ program. It is a 12-week program, all laid out for you. It's going to help you build strength and cardio in the fastest, safest, and most convenient way possible. This is how James and I have been training for the past year, and we love it. So we put this program together so you can just follow along, and we are certain you will see and feel the benefits that we do. It's only $15. Just go to grumpyguybjj.com, click the drop-down menu in the upper right-hand corner, and you'll find it. Next, R3. This is our K2 D3 supplement. It is a combination of those two vitamins, D3 and K2. These are two vitamins that James and I have been taking for a long time that really help us recover from hard training sessions. And for only $15 with free shipping, you get a whole month's supply. I was going to pull up some studies explaining the benefits of D3 and K2, but I'm not going to insult your intelligence and pretend to be a fucking scientist. I take it. It helps me recover. That's it. So for $15, check it out. And last but certainly not least, we have partnered up with Jiu-Jitsu.com. They have a ton of awesome BJJ instructionals, and they have hooked us up with a discount code for our listeners. It's Grumpy10. So what you got to do is you go to Jiu-Jitsu.com, which is DIGITSU.com. Find the instructionals you want, throw them in a shopping cart. In the little discount code box, you type in Grumpy10, which is just GRUMPY and the number 10. 10. That's it. No spaces. Boom. You get 10% off. You're up and running. They got a nice app you can download on your phone. That way you can take your instructionals right to the gym with you, watch the technique, drill it. It's a pretty sweet setup. So once again, DIGITSU.com. Discount code Grumpy10, GRUMPY10. Simple as that. To find all this stuff I just got done talking about, go to our website, grumpyguybjj.com. Click the drop-down menu in the upper right-hand corner. There, you'll subscribe to our newsletter for podcast updates. You'll find links for the Ramping ISOs program, the R3 recovery supplement, and then under the programs and products tab, you'll find a link to Jiu-Jitsu.com. And let's be honest, if you guys can't figure out how to navigate a website by now, there's nothing I can do to help you. So quit fucking around, check it out, train hard, and let's get into this week's episode. And here we go again. Once again.
Strapped in, ready for another Saturday morning podcast.
Pre-training podcast.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Waka. Have a seat, buddy. Maybe let's go back outside. You just want to come in and say hi.
Say hi.
Yep.
He'll be back in a minute.
There's too much going on out there. Kids just got up. Bread's being baked. It's a busy
morning at the
time
Wilsons.
in the morning, yeah. So, and here we are sitting here drinking our coffee, talking.
I'm not stripping down to nothing here, James. Just taking off my sweatshirt. It's rather warm in our podcast setting this morning. Or I'm warm, I guess.
Yeah, well, I turned the space heater on.
That's good.
This is one of those rooms that doesn't get the heat. For whatever reason, man, I'm sure there's something I could pay somebody to do to fix it. But, yeah, not all the rooms get the heat evenly distributed to them. And so, like, this corner of the house, like this room and Z's room, like, they get pretty cold. So, I got to throw the space heater in here. And then it makes it warm. So,
that's good.
Yeah, it's two extremes. It's the barbell strategy of temperature.
It's first world problem.
Yeah, either cold or hot. So.
Cold or hot.
Yeah. So, yeah, man.
Anyways.
How's work?
It's good. It was the first full week of the year because, we had the past 2 weeks with Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah.
And getting back into it, having to work this full 4 days in a row.
Yeah.
It was a little rough. But I made it.
Yeah.
Wintertime in Telluride is a little challenging.
Yeah, man. I bet.
I had a couple of long days.
Dude, it's so funny that I spent, of all the places and all the random experiences that I could have had to have stayed in Telluride for an extended period of time. So I know that place. I know exactly what you're talking about, exactly what you're talking about. And yeah, I can't even imagine trying to drive a fucking truck around that place. So Yeah, kudos to you, man.
Comes with its challenges. Makes for long days. I was struggling. I feel a little more rested this morning, but I had a couple days to where I get home late, and then it just starts compounding because then I only get like 5 or 6 hours of sleep, and then I'm backing up at it again the next day. And if that's a late day, it's just like ugh. So, come yesterday, I went skiing yesterday. I didn't ski real hard, but I went out and put in some a few hours, and then we got a visitor.
Yes. Oh, we're gonna do the Pokemon update early.
Oh
Yeah.
man, we're switching it up. Last week was at the very end of the episode, so this week will be at the very beginning.
We're gonna keep it to the basics, yeah. All right.
But actually, I have 2 cards.
Oh well, all right. So what do we got here, man?
Well, I'm saving the best for last.
Okay.
So the first one is an armored Mewtwo. It has 120 hit points. It's a psychic type, and its attacks are psychic raid. It does 130 damage.
Yeah.
And it says this Pokemon can't attack during your next turn. And then the best one is remember that I said that this was an M Venusaur EX?
Yes.
It's actually a Mega Venusaur EX.
Whoa, Mega Venus.
Because I saw an M and then I looked over the just Venusaur and it said Mega over it.
Okay.
So the Mega Venusaur EX it has 230 hit points. It's a grass type. And its attacks are Crisis Vine, which does 120 damage. And under that, it says your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed and poisoned. And it says Pokemon EX rule. When a Pokemon EX has been knocked out, your opponent takes 2 prize cards.
Huh, man. And it's got Japanese on it, huh?
Uh-huh.
That's a cool card.
Is that one of the Japanese cards that, what's his name? Who brought you some Japanese ones?
It was Oscar?
No, it
No.
isn't. No.
That's an American one. It just has Japanese,
See?
He's screaming something, and it's coming out in Japanese. So.
I think it's just Venusaur because Pokemon can't say anything other than their name.
That's true. That's true. As far as humans can hear.
Except for really strong psychic types.
Okay. Well, cool, man. We appreciate the Pokemon update.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Any other things you want to share with our millions of fans and listeners?
We had our first week of class at Fruity BJJ this week. Z was our line leader. He's our highest rank in the class.
Yep, and also there's something on the bottom of Armored Mewtwo that...
Yeah.
Well, first, Armored Mewtwo is a basic.
Okay.
And then it says Mewtwo was on a rampage searching for meaning to existence.
Existential.
That's a tough one, buddy.
That was freaking really good, man.
That was really good.
In this world, when Gavane surprised and
Okay, man. You may need to practice these before you come in.
and controlled its power.
Okay. Cool, dude. Right on, man. We appreciate the Pokemon update. Like I said, you may want to practice those before you come in.
Yeah.
Getting through them live on the air may be tough.
But you did it.
You did it, man.
Lesson learned. So now you just got to practice. Read them right before you come in. You just got to read through them, sort it out, and then you'll be prepared.
Yep.
Yep.
Preparation. Cool, man. Well, thanks for the Pokemon update.
You're welcome.
I guess we'll talk to you later.
Mm-hmm.
All right, see you, dude.
Okay,
Bye.
man.
Mom.
All right.
If we need to be, some of these elements of this podcast do need to be video. So if everybody could see Z in his shark pajamas.
Yes.
They're super sweet pajamas with the shark hood and the
Shark
teeth, the whole
hoodie.
9 yards.
Yes.
Him reading these Pokemon cards.
Trying to read them, and yeah.
He did, dude.
Put
he's
it in
doing,
context. He's 6 years old.
Dude,
man.
he's doing super good.
Yeah.
Like,
to sound out
Sound
like existential as good as he did. Is,
no, like you give him enough time, you can almost make it through all those words.
Yeah.
Those are not like kid reading material.
No, man.
Not at all.
It's funny. Yeah. He's yeah. Good
And I've seen the
good
progression
reading.
too as he's gotten into Pokemon and being able to sort these things out. Like,
It's weird how the Pokemon cards helped him read.
yeah,
Having to figure out the sounds for the names of the Pokemon, which are pretty much like nonsense, but being able to apply that, sounding things out to bigger words. And we've talked about it, like you realize, like, oh, a lot of kids are memorizing what words look like. They see the word stop and, oh, that's stop, but they don't really understand it as st-op.
right.
And then you can only memorize so many words that way. But early on, it can look like you're progressing because you're memorizing these words, especially if you're reading like the same books. And it's like, oh, look, little Johnny's learning how to read. And it's like, no, man, he's just memorizing it and he's memorizing these words. But yeah, having him figure that out. So I never would have thought Pokemon was going to be good for his
I never thought Pokemon would be good for anything.
anything. So
we've been proven wrong. That and his love of dinosaurs,
yeah,
I'm sure, has contributed to him
Yeah.
reading well, because a lot of the pronouncing the dinosaur names is not
it's
easy.
true. Yeah, they're kind of nonsense words too.
Yeah, a lot of nonsense words. It is made up scientific bullshit words.
Yeah. No, that is true. So he's very good at doing that.
Pretty smart kid.
Yeah.
Smarter than I was at 6 years old.
Yeah.
Shoot, he might be smarter than I am at 40. I just have more experience. That's the only difference.
Age and treachery will get you pretty far in life, man.
I think that's the
It's
only
all right.
difference.
Yeah, youth is always going to have something on us, so
Mm-hmm.
you got to take what you can get.
That's right.
But
Anyways, I don't remember what we're talking about. Oh, I was probably bitching about work. Oh, man, yeah, I was dragging ass. Because you just start getting these compounding days. And then yesterday at practice, dude, I was suffering last night. Like, I knew I had to keep things at a certain pace because I did not have another gear. I could get my body into about 5th gear tops. If someone wanted to wrestle into like 6th or 7th gear, it wasn't going to happen. So,
yeah.
luckily, I have enough skill. I can keep things into a certain gear. But, yeah, it was rough. I feel a little better this morning. I'm fasting today. Like, my stomach wasn't great yesterday. Still not 100% on point today. I don't know. I think it's just my body just trying to play catch up.
Yeah.
So I'm going for like at least probably a 24-hour fast.
Huh.
So
Good.
we'll see.
Can't hurt.
No, it's got to help.
Yeah.
it's got. Yeah, it's not gonna hurt. I can guarantee you, it's not gonna hurt.
Yeah,
So
man.
we'll see. I feel a little better. We'll see come wrestling time today, but
Yeah, that'll be the
the
test.
I'll find out.
You will.
I definitely, when I tried, I could tell yesterday, like, I could go, like I said, I could go a certain speed, but as soon as I tried to go a little bit faster, like when I was training with Kevin, it just wasn't going to happen. So I just had to back off. I could tell, like, man, I'm going to shit myself or something. This is not going to go well.
Yeah.
So I'll just
gotta become master of the old man pace.
The old man pace.
You gotta suck them into your pace, buddy.
Tugboat jiu-jitsu, buddy.
That's it. At a certain point, becomes a good option.
It is a good option.
It's like, I'm listening to you and I'm like, yeah, I don't even pretend like I have that 6th and 7th gear, because fucking, dude, you get so gassed and it's like, it's not that power element, the quickness and power. It's not the same as you get older. Like, it taxes you in a different way than when you were younger. Like, we were talking about Callum this morning. What is he, 18 years old?
Yep.
And like, dude, he's like a goddamn jackrabbit jumping around trying to pass your guard. And man, I don't care how good a shape I'm in. If I tried that for fucking 30 seconds like he's doing, like, I'd be done. I mean, I would be very spent, and I'd have to lay there for a while and recover, which isn't good for things, because people start to escape and then bad things happen to you. So it's that consistency thing. And, it's actually kind of interesting, man. We were, I'm listening. I'm finally getting around to listening to the Faraz Sahabi interview on Joe Rogan, which was like fucking month or two ago, something like that. Quite a while ago. But he brought up an interesting point that I wanted to bring up, which kind of segues here, which is like his observation that the time limit is what makes wrestling more valuable, or so valuable in MMA, as opposed to jiu-jitsu, which was originally developed under like Vietudo rules, which was like
no time limit.
No time limit, man. We could be here for 2-3 hours going at this. So
right.
You want to keep double legging me and taking me down? Like, I don't gonna fucking put you in my closed guard, and
we'll hang out till you
get
tired.
Hang out and we'll do the thing, man. It's fun. And I never thought about that before. That like the time limit, having a 5-minute period, puts a sense of urgency on things that not having it doesn't. And so like that 6th and 7th gear that you're talking about, like, man, to be honest with you, a lot of times that is more, there's times to pull it out when you see an opportunity and you can finish this thing, but a lot of times it's being pulled out because there's a sense of urgency. Like you're in a bad position and that time's running out, or that you only have a certain amount of time to do something. And so now you're like, instead of just sitting up good defense and just saying, all right, well, you're going to have to move, man. I'm fine right now, so you're going to have to move. And if you want to sit there for freaking 2 minutes, I don't give a fuck. But like you don't instinctively, we're like, dude, I only got like a few minutes to work shit or do things or whatever. And so, and again, we talk about it like, put yourself in a bad situation. I think there's something to that, but I never really thought about like how that actually changes the physical qualities and things that you're going to value, or like, so like a no time limits fight is going to value different qualities, physical qualities and strategies than a 5-minute period fight will.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I agree 100%. And that, it goes to my argument is that I think it's frustrating for me, like the IBJJF time limit rules for us masters. They're 5-minute matches, but you just go to the adult division, the black belts are like 8, whatever they are, 8, 9, 10-minute matches.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, wait a second, the old guys should be 10-minute matches.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Well, the theory is that it's shorter, so it's going to be easier. And if we're doing like 10-minute matches, and that we're like old people, and that it's gonna, it's tough.
No, we just go slower.
It's tough for us.
No,
like,
we just go slower.
We go slower, yeah.
In jiu-jitsu, people should know this. They're the ones fucking making the rules.
Yeah.
They should know this.
Yeah.
Because, like, if we set the timer, for 7 or 8 minutes, 10 minutes at the gym as opposed to 5, like, I approach it differently.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's also why sometimes, you roll around and then you think you're done, and then it continues and you're not quite sure. Like, and it's like, there was a pacing strategy that I was approaching this with.
Yep.
And it's not really fair, if like, well, you knew that, like, okay, well, we're just gonna keep this going out. So like, you knew
you were applying a different
pacing strategy. Yeah, exactly, because you knew that, okay, well, we're gonna just keep going. And so then all of a sudden, and then it's like, and then when it's gonna end. Whether, well, I'm gonna go through the next buzzer or whether I'm gonna go through the next tap. And like on the other end, you're like, I got no fucking clue, so I got no clue how to like pace this thing. And so it's, in the absence of that, my pacing strategy is usually, well, this could be a fucking 3-hour fight. Like, I'm going to do a lot of laying here and not doing much. Like, what's my strategy supposed to be? Like, I'm fucking gassed already. And so I don't really have, so anyways, that's that pacing strategy. It does impact things.
For sure.
For sure. Like on a lot of different levels. And so, but I just never really thought about how, like, that time limit makes, because there's that argument, wrestling versus jiu-jitsu, and I don't think there's any, you have to know jiu-jitsu right? You can never dismiss jiu-jitsu by saying like, oh, you don't need jiu-jitsu. No, that's bullshit. Because if you don't have jiu-jitsu, you're going to fall victim to jiu-jitsu. But I think that wrestling is definitely the dominant grappling style in MMA. Like, would you agree?
I agree 100%. Just the rule set dictates it.
Right, I never thought about that, but there's the argument, right? And it's like, oh, well, MMA is supposed to be this, like, this is what a fight. We're simulating a fight, right? And so, but you know what I mean? You see, but this is, and you hear this from the wrestling guys, right? Because that's the thing, is like, fuck jiu-jitsu. You don't need jiu-jitsu. You just need wrestling. Wrestling's better than jiu-jitsu. And you can see by looking at the dominance of wrestlers in MMA, and MMA is supposed to be simulating an actual fight. So ipso facto, wrestling is the dominant martial art for, like, in fighting. And so, but like I said, I'd never really considered, like, well, maybe it's like 5-minute fights, Like one of his things was like, well, instead of 3 5-minute rounds, let's have 1 15-minute round.
Yep.
It's like, well, same 15 minutes. But that would definitely change things immensely. So, anyways, it was just interesting to think about, one of those things I'd never considered. But once you think of, you start looking at things, you're like, oh, wow, yeah, okay, so I see this, and that makes sense. And so, but
I'd have to go back and re-listen to that. It's been a while. I can't remember. Now that you're bringing it up, I remember them talking about that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I actually had forgotten completely that they talked about that.
Yeah, I'm sure, man. Like I said, in the spirit of yesterday's news in 2 weeks that we have on this show.
About podcasts that are 6 months old.
6 months old, I know. Well, I've been working through all the interviews that they had on the Map Burn podcast, and since my commute to jiu-jitsu is now about 5 minutes, I don't have quite as much podcast listening time as when I was commuting to Grand Valley like several times a week. So I'm still going there twice a week. There was a point where we were going there like 5 days a week, sometimes more. It was like at least 4 or 5 days a week we were going in and training there. And it's great, but that the driving time adds up. That's why I would get a lot of my podcast listening time in. So without as much of that, my podcast listening time gets cut down on. So.
I am fortunate with that's one of the good things about my job, is how much time I get to listen to podcasts and audiobooks.
Yeah. I don't even fuck with audiobooks.
Yeah,
they're so goddamn slow, man.
I always listen to them at least 1.5 or 2,
yeah.
2x. You get adjusted to it pretty quick.
Yeah.
And you get through them faster, which
That's how I watch videos online.
Being that I spend so much time in a vehicle listening to things I don't need to, but it keeps me engaged more, and I get through them faster. Yeah, it depends on who's reading, but yeah, once you get used to that, then you go listen to audiobooks at normal speed. Like, it takes forever for someone to get a sentence. So it's like, oh, you're shaking your fist. Like, all right, crank it up.
Yeah, I can read so much faster though.
Yeah.
Even at 2x, so it's like it takes me just no time to get through a book, and getting through the audiobook though. Getting through rereading Fight Club.
Dude, it's so good.
Oh god, I love that.
I know. Book. I thought about. I got another book or two I'm making it through right now. I thought about rereading that because I actually a couple weeks ago. Again, just to have some noise in the background, I'll kick something on the TV sometimes. And I put Fight Club on, and I get sucked in. It's such, dude. I love that movie.
So good.
That and the first Matrix, man.
Yep.
Probably, if I had to pick 2 movies that I could only ever watch again for the rest of my life, it would probably be one of those 2. And
yeah.
Dude, I love those movies.
Yeah, Fight Club's fucking awesome.
So good, dude.
I want you to hit me as hard as you can. Yeah, we were showing Shiloh previews for movies last night, and I forget how. I think they came across 7. Remember that
that's
one?
a good one, dude.
Super good.
I like those kind of psychological.
Yeah, that was a really good one. And of course, you got a super young Brad Pitt in that one. And then there's like other movies that are suggested, and somehow Fight Club came up. I was like, all right, watch the trailer for this one. And dude, it goes black, and like I remember it, like it's etched in my fucking brain so hard. Like the previews for that movie when it came out were just like, what the fuck is this? And it was like, it'd be black, and then it would say, I want you to hit me as hard as you can. And like halfway through it, like on would come Brad Pitt talking, and then Ed Norton's like, what? Why? He's like, let me back up. I was like, what the fuck? Like, it was so fucking strange. It was such a weird, like, you know, there was definitely a formula for movies up to that point. And then, you know, especially like popular movies. I know you've always had like, anyways, yeah, you've always had your weird quirky movies, but coming out in theaters, like major releases and stuff, like that was a quirky fucking movie for the time. And then without even the twist, you know, it was just like, and then you throw in the twist and it was just like, fucking, all right, that's it. We have lost cabin pressure. But then you read the book and you realize the book is 1,000 times better.
Yep.
I mean, as good as that movie is, the book is just, I'm reading it. I'm like chapter 6. Somehow I came in, I'd read the first couple chapters like months ago and then like got sucked into something else. So I got sucked into it or chapter 5, right? And then chapter 5 is where the apartment blows up. And then he starts to hang out with Tyler. And chapter 5 ends with, I want you to hit me as hard as you can. And then chapter 6 is like, you know, all right, this is Fight Club. And it's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know how to put it. Like, that dude's Chuck Palahniuk, right? That's his name?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, it makes me, like, as a somewhat author, like, somewhat writer, you know, I read his shit, and I'm just, like, ashamed. You know, it's like watching a high-level jiu-jitsu guy, and you're like, I don't even want to say I do jiu-jitsu, right? Like, because this dude's shit, like, the way he uses words to create images and stuff and very short. Like, that's the thing too, man. He's not using a ton of them. No. So
he's like a samurai, dude.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
Have you read many of his other books?
I've read several.
Yeah, so have I.
Yeah, they're all very similar, but man, there's something about Fight Club that's just so, like, he was channeling something else when he wrote that. I truly think that. Like, there's times when the universe uses you as a conduit for something. Like, that was me with the Catalyst pedal. Like, on some level, like, you know, the fuck is that, right? Where did I come up with that thing? So on a small level, that's like, you know, that idea. But I think that, you know, you have, you know, people can have things that they create that transcend everything else they've done. Like, they were just, you know, at that moment, whatever it was, things were just aligned and they were channeling something else. So anyways, yeah, I love that book, man.
It's such a good book, such a good movie.
Yeah.
It's dangerous for me to read, though, because then I contemplate, like, man, if my house just burned down, that would be the catalyst I need just to
the whole
go on a different path.
Yeah, man, that was the whole thing in chapter 6 was like, maybe self-improvement isn't the answer. Maybe it's self-destruction.
Self-destruction.
I was like, oh, dude, that's so... And on some level, that's such a fitting message for today, because everyone's on this self-improvement kick. You know, it's all about, like, you know, improving and, you know, and there's something to that. But, like, sometimes it is, like, you should take a look around and be like, man, you know, should I fucking burn some of this shit to the ground? Like...
Because I don't want to, like, I can relate to it. So, like, because you look around, like, I should get rid of some of this shit, but you can't bring yourself to it. Like, you're so attached to it, like, oh, I got a good thing going on. But if there was to be a disaster, meteor just hits my fucking house while I'm at work, and me and my dog are okay, I'm going to get myself an RV, I'm going to live in that fucking thing, and I'm good.
Yeah.
I just got rid of all my shit.
You know?
I got, unwillingly got rid of all my shit, but maybe that's what I need. Oh, believe me, I've thought about it more often than
No, man, I know. I'm sure. It's yeah, it's funny. After reading it, I told Keela, I was like, I need to just send Rob chapter 6.
Self-destruction.
Sometimes it is the fucking answer. Yeah. So, anyways, good book.
Yep.
But
if you and anybody listening, if you haven't read that book, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah.
Go read it.
Yeah, go read it.
Now.
I would say, if you haven't seen the movie, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yes.
But, because the book, I will say, man, it's not that, you know.
The book was never as popular as the movie.
No,
Yeah, I mean, when that movie came out, I didn't even realize it was a book.
Yep, I didn't know it was a book. Yeah. And it's kind of one of those trendy things now. Where, oh, yeah, it's based on the book by Chuck Palahniuk and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I would guarantee you that out of people that have seen the movie versus read the book, like, the percentage is like fucking 10% or less. And that's probably being generous. But, yeah, the book is way better.
Which is almost always the case.
Oh, yeah,
I can't think of off the top of my head a movie and a book combo that the movie was better.
No.
I can't. If I'd have to sit down and really think, like, see a list of movie and books, and maybe I'd pick one out.
Right.
Maybe, but you can just go into so much more detail.
Yeah,
in a
it's
book.
tough, man.
It's tough.
You can't. We were talking the other day, like, even Die Hard was originally a movie that was originally a book. And it was written for Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra is supposed to be the lead in Die Hard.
Think of what a shit show of a movie that would have been with Frank Sinatra as the lead.
Yeah. It's there's actually a good series, I may have mentioned it to you, it's on Netflix, called The Movies That Made Us. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't know if you've come across it and you're surfing around, but there's that Toys That Made Us series. Have you seen that?
Nope. I've heard of it.
That one's good, man. They go into G.I. Joe and Transformers and He-Man and like all the good stuff and just all the behind the scenes. And dude, it is an amazing reoccurring theme of how few things were just like, oh yeah, here's an idea, here's success, A, B, boom, we're done. It is like so many things came so close to not being realities. Like people had to like keep trying and pushing and so it's like you see the end product and you think like, oh man, that was easy, and then you hear the story behind it and you realize like, holy shit, like that almost didn't happen. That came very close to not happening because it was so difficult, but you had some things lined up, a little bit of luck, and you had a bunch of people who were super determined to make this happen, and then finally good things happen. But
it's funny, Paul and I were just talking about that on our podcast yesterday, that most quote unquote overnight successes were 20 years in the making.
Oh yeah.
You didn't see all the failures and shit on the way to it.
Yeah.
And then someone's successful and you're like, oh, he was just lucky.
Right.
He swung once and hit it out of the park. Like, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe your interpretation in what you saw, that's what you think. But if you were to strip it away, I mean, there is those things that happen.
There's always outliers.
There's always outliers.
Yeah.
But a good percentage of the time, when you see someone successful or something that was successful, there was a lot of trial and error and failures and hard work that went into it.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man.
But it makes us feel better just to think someone got lucky.
Yep.
When you see somebody that's better than you or more successful than you, you're like, they're just lucky.
Yeah.
Makes you feel better.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely people that have advantages to stuff.
Well, for sure.
It's, but I don't know. I was actually talking with Shiloh yesterday. We were just discussing just kind of how you view situations, because it's easy to view it in a way that casts you as a little bit of a victim. And that's kind of where, if you're like, that guy got lucky, you're kind of basically saying, well, I'm a victim of circumstance. He's lucky from his circumstances, which makes me basically a victim of my circumstances. And so, I came up kind of with the analogy. I love the tension thing. There's two ends of a spectrum and you're trying to find the tension between the two. And so you're trying to find the tension between being a victim and 100% responsibility. Because, man, the thing is 100% responsibility is not true either. Like, that's not accurate. Like, you do have things. Like, people are born into situations that are harder to deal with and overcome. Like, if you're 5'3", you're not going to be a center in the NBA, right? Like, you have a dream, and it's like, dude, 100% responsibility, motherfucker. If you really wanted it, you could make it. And it's like, dude, I'm 5'3". And it's like, no, man, you could do it. You could figure out a way. 100% responsibility. Right? Like, that's ridiculous. Like, nobody would say that that's an accurate way to look at that situation. So, but being a victim of like, well, I am 5'3", so I can't do shit. I can't play basketball at all. It's like, come on, Muggsy. You remember old Muggsy Bogues, man? You know what I mean?
Muggsy Bogues,
yeah. It's like, so you have none of those dudes if you looked at your situation and you were 100% victim. It's like, okay, if you're under 5'5", like you just can't play basketball and oh man, I can't do it. Right? So you don't want that either. So like somewhere you got to find that tension between the two, between like, it's not 100% responsibility, but it's not being a victim either. And really at the end of the day, like the growth stuff happens when your view of the situation is at least 51% towards the 100% responsibility side. Like if you're on the other side even a little bit, like it's really hard to grow because you're just you're looking at the situation and being like, oh, that guy was, had a lucky break and, blah, blah, blah. And it's like,
because when you favor that side, you don't see yourself as needing to grow.
Yeah, because you can't.
You can't. Like, oh, no matter what I do, it's futile.
Yeah. And there's nothing to learn from what that guy did. And because you don't look into it and realize like, oh man, that guy had a lot of failures along the way. Or that guy had to overcome this. And like, okay, well, I could use something from my experience the same way. And that's how you emulate successful people, is you look into like you said, the 10 years that led to the overnight success. Like, what did they do there? It's like, not what do they do once they're successful, because you're not successful yet. Don't worry about that. Like, how the fuck did they get there? And it wasn't woke up one day and, fucking Oprah called them and said, hey, guess what? I've randomly picked you to come on my show and just, like, be famous. Or, I don't know what the analogy would be. I'm dating myself a little bit there. But, dude, at one point, getting on Oprah was, like, it. Like, that major fucking ticket to fame. I mean, Dr. Phil is probably one of the most famous examples.
Nowadays, it's kind of the JRE.
Yeah, yep, he can get on, yeah, exactly. So, but that's the, that's not how it happens. It's like you said, there's a lot of work that goes into it. But anyways, I just kind of thought that was, and it definitely plays into your jiu-jitsu, right? Like if you're just like, oh, I can't do this move because of my body type. It's like, well, maybe you can't, but you're definitely never going to figure out how to do it if that's your attitude, if that's how you look at it. Like if you got short legs and you can't triangle people, if like, maybe you're just not working your angles right. Maybe there's, something, but as long as you're going to have to take one of two sides of this thing, that's like your view's going to go one of two ways. So you got to be careful about which way it goes, because it's easy, man. It's comfortable. Like the victim side is like warm.
Warm and fuzzy.
Oh, it's warm and fuzzy. It feels kind of good.
It's like shark pajamas.
Yeah, exactly.
Warm and fuzzy.
And like fucking 100% responsibility is like real sharks. It's intimidating and it's not comfortable and it's not gonna, be warm and fuzzy, because it is tough to be like, fuck, I gotta improve. And but like I said, that's the only way you get better. Yeah. Jiu-jitsu or life or anything at all. So,
it's not easy.
It's not easy, man.
Put in the work.
Yep. Heck yeah. So,
anyways,
speaking of which, got our first week of classes in the books. They're free to BJJ this week, so
that's good.
Yeah. I started taking notes on class stuff.
Did you?
Yeah.
Like as far as what goes, just things to improve.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this didn't work.
Yep. Exactly. It's an interesting way to look at jiu-jitsu now, because I've done the notebook and kept notes, and I still do to a little degree. It definitely helped me a ton. I think early on, keeping notes for the first year or two of jiu-jitsu helps you immensely. And as you get better in your conceptual understanding of things, like using notes to kind of help reinforce some things and write some things down, definitely helps. But looking at it now from okay, I'm trying to teach this technique or run this class, and now I'm gonna look at it from that standpoint, like what worked, what didn't work, what do I want to try next time. But it's just like regular jiu-jitsu, man. Like you gotta, okay, I think this is what's gonna work, and then you test it, and either it did or it didn't work, man. And if it didn't work, okay, what can you do better? And again, as an instructor, we were just talking about, it's like, what can you do better? Or was it just the students didn't get it, right? And you do have students that are just fucking retarded. I'm not saying I do, mine are, but you know what I mean? You've coached before.
Oh yeah.
Like, you get people who have no body awareness, no athleticism. You wonder how on God's green earth they've made it through, like,
without falling off the curb
life.
and getting
Yeah,
run over.
man. It's like, oh my God, you look like you're gonna kill yourself just getting out of bed. And you know, like, that does happen, right? But using that as a fallback for every time you try something, like I'm showing a technique and people didn't get it, and it's like, you know, they're just not naturals. Or, you know, they didn't get it. So, or what can you do better? And so that's, you know, I'm trying to keep notes and figure out, like, okay, that didn't work, and what can we do better next time? So
That's good.
yeah.
Yeah, because you'll find out pretty quickly when you're teaching people. You have an idea in your head on how to explain something, and it's the way you would need it explained, but that doesn't carry over to everybody else.
Yep.
And then that'll change per class too, and per student. You know, you'll explain it. You may knock it out of the park one day explaining the technique, and then you get a different crop of students in there and you explain it the same way. And all it takes is one person in that class to interpret it a little bit different, and then the person they're drilling with picks up on what they're doing, and it's all fucked up, and then it just kind of, it's like, like, this worked out so good last time.
Yeah.
And just take one person to see it a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And it kind of catches fire through the room, and you're like, okay, let's fix this.
Yeah.
This worked last time. Didn't work this time. We'll come at it from another angle.
No, for sure.
I've seen that happen.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's
ever evolving.
It is ever evolving, man. Dude, coaching's not easy. Like,
no, it's not.
If you've never done it, like, it's really tough to appreciate how, like, difficult it is and how much energy it takes. Like, and it's easy to look at, okay, the coach isn't actually doing anything, right? They're not doing the work. They're not, you know, doing the drills. They're not doing the stuff. You know, they may do the warm up with you, but usually a lot of times, like, that's where, like, the coaches stop participating and start, like, coaching. And so it's easy to look at it and be like, you know, he's just fucking walking around, like, you know, telling people what to do. That's not hard. It's like, man, that is so, like, if you're a good coach, then you've got your fucking radar on constantly, and you're, like, trying to, like you said, figure out, like, okay, who's doing this so wrong that they may start to infect the rest of the class, or, you know, who's not paying attention, about to blast themselves into a wall, or, you know, whatever it is. It's there's
a lot of mental energy.
A lot of mental energy that goes in, and you give a lot too, man, because you want the people that you're teaching to get better, and you're literally, like, you're giving part of yourself, like, to them to help them figure this out. Like, you're not going to figure out how to do this arm bar on your own. I'm giving you, like, this has taken me years, and I'm building on, you know, the years of the coach that taught me and the years that coach that taught him, and there's a lot of fucking energy that goes into doing that, and I love doing it. It's great, but it like I said, it's if you haven't done it, it's tough to appreciate. So, but it is good. I like fucking coaching. There's nothing like the feeling of, you know, seeing somebody kind of get something, seeing a little light bulb, or see them, like, oh, okay.
That light bulb moment's cool.
Yeah.
After you've been showing somebody something for a while, then finally it's like, there you go.
Right, yeah. Or you see him, like, hit a freaking technique, and it's like, holy shit, that looked like jiu-jitsu right there. Like, that was good, man. It's awesome. Like, there's few feelings in the world quite like that, in my opinion, like, for me. So it's cool. I'm like doing it. But yeah, we were doing the arm bar, and we were doing it off the pit stop this week. That was I talked to you about that idea of using the pit stop for setting up the arm bar as opposed to just showing the arm bar. And, you know, the pit stop's basically like getting, like, capping your shoulder, like, so you're sliding up, you're setting up for a regular arm bar. Everything's the same, right? You're setting up for an arm bar. And if you do a good setup for an arm bar, this position almost just kind of happens, because it comes from keeping good pressure while you're bringing your knee up to their shoulder. Like, you've got their elbow across, and so now you need to bring your knee up to their shoulder to block their shoulder and put your foot on their hips, and now you can start changing your angle. And again, the big mistake a lot of people make early on is they just open their legs
and throw it over,
or just like or just like put their foot on the hip, and there's no pressure to keep the shoulder in, and it's easy to rip out at that point. And so if you're sliding up and you're keeping pressure on the shoulder, and then you change your angle, and you're still keeping pressure on the shoulder, it's nothing to just kind of move your knee up a little bit higher, and boom, your knee caps their shoulder, and you relock your guard. And now you got that shoulder locked in your closed guard, basically. And that's what we call the pit stops. It's a pit stop on the way to your arm bar. Instead of going straight for the arm bar, like, man, hit the pit stop and then go for your arm bar. And it's such a, I did realize, like, one, I was, you just got to teach, like, this is how you do an arm bar. But we're going to go to this position. Like, along the way to the arm bar, there's a position. And it's the pit stop. And at this point, now you have options as to what's going on. If they're defending, you don't have to just throw for the arm bar. It makes no sense to throw for an arm bar if someone's defending an arm bar. So you need a position where you can start to address what they're doing to defend the arm bar. And if they're not doing anything, go for the arm bar. It's fine. And so, but yeah, man, like teaching people to get in that pit stop. And then, all right, now, arm bar. And then, there's just so much shit you can do from there. And we were talking, it's like, I kind of wish that's how I had learned the arm bar originally. I think, like, I would have been more successful with closed guard arm bars early on if I had learned that concept of, like, using this position before you actually throw for the arm bar. So, but anyways, like, we were talking, like, in my mind, like, position, if you have good position, it's going to open up something else. So instead of teaching an arm bar, it's like, what's the position that opens up the arm bar? And then if you have really good position, no matter what they do, you're going to have an option. But if you're just throwing for an arm bar, you have one option, arm bar.
It's arm bar or your guard's getting past.
Yep, they know it, you know it, everyone knows it. I'm going for an arm bar. But if you understand this concept of, and we say it, right, it's position before submission. Position before submission. The whole point system in IBJJF is really set up to encourage that idea of get dominant position. And if you have dominant position and you're really controlling them with the dominant position, the submissions will open up. And, we say it, the jiu-jitsu understands it, and we try and communicate that. But then when you look at how we teach techniques, especially to white belts and new people, does that necessarily reflect that philosophy? And I'm not sure. What I'm trying to do is figure out if there's maybe, a way to reflect that philosophy a little bit better. Like, here's the position that sets up the submission. Right? Here's the submission, right? But there's a position that sets it up. And then off of this, you've got an arm lock. You've got a wrist lock. As they're defending this, you can come back to the arm bar. If they start pressuring in, you've got the flower sweep. You can come around to their back. It's like, no matter what they do from that position, you have an option. And when we talked to Pimenta, right? He said that's the secret to fucking jiu-jitsu. You put your opponent in a position where they only have a few options, and you know what all of them are.
That's it.
That's what Pimenta said. From the man himself. You put them in a position where they only have a few options and you know what they are. So, like, I don't know. It's like my aspiration is to, like, try to coach that concept along with the techniques. And so, but yeah, I think that pit stop, man, it's such a great, like, once you understand the series off of that once you get to there, like, man, there's really, if they don't address the shoulder, like, they have to get that shoulder free. They got to get back to just regular closed guard. And if they don't realize that's the fight and they're doing anything else,
they're in trouble.
They're done. Whatever they do, they're done. It's, I used it last night to fucking get somebody's back and choke him out. He'll go unnamed at the moment. But, it's fucking, it's classic fucking, I thought of you, man. Got to his back. Got in tight, fucking trapped the arm, good old triangle from the back.
Was it Mahler?
Yeah, it was.
I could see Mahler, like, not respecting the pit stop. Like, nah, yeah. I'm good. This isn't threatening. I'll be all right here.
Yeah.
I'll maul my way out of this.
He was, man, he put up a good fight. It was tough, man. He was like, he kept, like, because the problem is, if you push in, it's really easy to get swept, and it's really easy for me to shift my weight and get to your back. But if you extend out trying to get posture, you're extending your arm. And
you don't have a lot of good options. If you let somebody get there, you got to select the lesser of two evils.
Yes.
Or many evils.
Yeah.
You got to figure out, okay, I think he's looking for this, so I'm going to try this.
Yeah.
That's how you have to deal with it. If you let someone get to there.
While you're trying to get your shoulder out. The entire time's got to be, okay, I got to, whatever they're trying to do, I got to address that. But all this other shit is bullshit. I got to get the shoulder out.
Got to get the shoulder out. In the most...
And it's not by pulling my arm out.
It's not by pulling the arm straight out.
One of the guys asked that in the class. Actually, one of the new white belt guys asked, like, well, couldn't they just pull their arm out and get their shoulder free? And I'm like, yeah,
they can.
They can. There's a triangle right there.
That's one in, one out.
Yeah, most people, once you know they're not going to, once you understand not to do that, they're not going to do that. But, so, yeah, it is. It's such a good position to, once you understand it. And I remember... like Lance showing me that, like when I first started doing jiu-jitsu and he came to town and I did a private with him, and that's kind of where me and him started talking, because I had my video stuff set up in the garage where we did the private at, and he was asking me about, what am I doing there? I'm like, I'm filming exercises and shit, and that's kind of where we started hitting things off on doing stuff online. But anyways, I remember him showing me that there. He was like, what do you want to learn? I'm like, dude, I just started jiu-jitsu like 6 weeks ago. I don't know nothing. He's like, all right, let's start from closed guard. And he was, showing me, and I don't remember how it came up, but I remember him showing me like, oh yeah, here's this pit stop. But the way that it was presented was almost like, this is another technique you can do, right? Like it wasn't like, this is a position that you can do techniques off of. It's like, well, you can do an armbar, you can do a triangle. And it's like, oh, if they're defending the armbar really good, look what you can do. You can cap their shoulder and do the shoulder lock on them. And so it never really clicked with me how that linked up with the other stuff, because it was just another technique, I guess, that I was filing away. And so, but yeah, so, like I said, everyone knows this position. I'll guarantee if you've been doing jiu-jitsu for a year or two, you've seen it, done it. You've done it, you've probably found yourself in it. But yeah, once you really understand, like, man, if I can just get to that position, there's a whole world of opportunities that open up for me, and how to take advantage of them. Like, your closed guard would just get so much more dangerous, man. It is like, man, once you start fucking with people's arms, like, because I started to try to pull this one off, the other arm, you're instinctively going to start trying to resist that. So you're going to start pushing with that other arm. And then it's like, well, okay, I'm going to go for that one. It's like, once you start trying to get it across, you don't have to get the arm all the way across. You just got to get enough where you can get your fucking, and you keep walking your knees up. It's like, dude, you're like a fucking, it's like snaky, man. It's like, I know, man, once I get those knees walking up and get those elbows, they're starting to fin in that. And it's like, eventually, if I keep good pressure, it's like, it's going to lock up. And then we go from there.
And it's no good for you.
It's no good for you, my friend.
No good for you.
Yeah. So that is another good thing about teaching, though, is I was playing a lot more of closed guard pit stop last night, because I had been coaching it over the week, and I was like, oh yeah, this is fucking awesome. This is a great position. I need to use this more. So I feel like that'll be a theme.
That'll be a theme, a recurring theme. It's like, okay, what am I teaching this week? And then you're like, oh yeah, this is good. Yeah.
I teach it all week, and then I go to Friday open mat, and it's like, oh yeah, man, like, because by the end of the week, by the time you've coached it, 4-5 times, whatever, like you said, like, each time you get better. Like on Monday, the class on Thursday is not what you're coaching on Monday. Things, you've evolved it, you figured it out, like you're doing better, you have a better understanding of it, and so now your ability to execute it is better. And so it's kind of where that like selfish thing about coaching comes in, where it's like, oh yeah, it makes you better just as much as it makes the students better. So, but yeah, that's the adult class. Then we got our kids class. You got to figure out how to rein in my hellion.
You got some challenges there.
Yeah, I got one kid who's very high-spirited. And,
high-spirited.
High-spirited,
I like the way you put that.
He's like a young colt that hasn't been broken yet.
How old is he? 8, you said?
I'm going to guess like 8.
Roughly?
Yeah. So, it's, Yeah, man, it's a fine line because it is a different, like, I don't know how to, again, there's a tension, right, between like being like real disciplinarian and being like fucking just, cool. And man, that line is not the same as it was when we were kids.
No.
It's just not. It's just both with, the where the kids are at when they come to you, and then also kind of what the expectations are, for the class and kind of how things are going to be handled and stuff like that. And on one hand, it's like, my goal is I want to help kids get better, not break them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, is like, okay, if I create this real disciplinarian atmosphere where I'm like, anytime you talk, anytime you do anything wrong, you're sitting inside, 10 push-ups, whatever it is. Like, there's a lot of kids that won't respond well to that. And if they quit, like, did I really win? And so, like, yeah, there's a line, like there has to be. It's like, with my kid, like, there's definitely a point with Z where, like, dude, you're going to get a spanking, right? It's not the same line as it was for me when I was a kid. Like, it's different, but it's there, man. Like, there's always going to be that point where it's like, look, man, go sit out for the rest of the class. You're done. We've talked, blah, blah, blah. You're not getting it. You need to sit there and watch and see how everybody else is behaving and see if you can figure it out. Probably put it a little bit more eloquently than that. But that's the spirit of the message. But overall, man, I'm just trying to figure out a way to, keep some discipline in the class without just breaking kids' spirits so that they want to come back and they want to.
There always needs to be that option, though.
Yeah.
There needs to be that quote-unquote nuclear option.
Yep.
Like, that's it. Like, you've had several chances. You don't get to participate anymore. You're sitting out. Then, I tend to be towards the heavier side. I was brought up that way. I started martial arts when I was 5 years old. And, dude, I remember specifically, like, you screwed up, guess what? Horse stance. Go stand over there. You can just stay in your spot in class. But everybody else is doing the form or the sparring. Your horse stance. Oh, your legs are tired? Cool. Do some push-ups.
Yeah.
Are you sick of doing horse stance and push-ups? Are you going to behave? Yes, sensei. Okay, back in class.
Yeah.
It worked well for a 5 or 6 year old guy. Like,
yeah.
I think there needs to be
something like
that.
There
needs to be something like that. There really does. Like, martial arts are for discipline.
Yeah.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a little more relaxed. You more traditional Japanese or Korean martial arts, like I was in, tend to be a little more structured. You know, and such. But man, there needs to be some of that.
There needs to be some of it.
There needs to be oh no, you get to do activity. You're gonna leave here tired. You either get to do the fun activity all the other kids are doing, but once you prove that you can't participate properly, you're going to do an activity. It's not going to be a fun one.
Yeah.
And I think, there's always, everybody responds differently to different, stimulus. But I think kids need some of that.
Oh, yeah.
I really do.
There needs to be a line. I mean,
It's tough. And that line's not a hard line. It changes, and it...
Well, at the end of the day, it's funny. I got a note card where, Jocko Willenick's Extreme Ownership book, like, each chapter has a title. And, I wrote out, like, all those things. And several times a week, I'll just look them over, man, because it's just good to remind yourself of these things. Like, there are no bad teams, only bad leaders. Because, man, it's so fucking easy to, if this person was doing this better, this person was doing that better. One of those things is it's not what you preach, it's what you tolerate.
Yep.
And that's so important. I have to remind myself of that so much with my kids and just, myself and just things in general, because you can talk all you want, but at the end of the day, it's what are you tolerating? And it's like, if somebody does what you're telling them not to do, what is happening?
Yep. And
if nothing's happening, then you're tolerating it. And so that's what's going to be remembered. And so at the end of the day, like, really, like, that's what you're looking for, is like, how do I deliver the message that this will not be tolerated? This is how we act. Breaking these rules will not be tolerated. Once you cross that line, X is going to happen. Mm-hmm. Okay, now what is X, right? And that's where the whatever comes in. So
you got to, you just have to decide that, and you have to stick to it.
Stick to it, yes.
No matter what kid it is or what.
Yeah.
One day you can't be, if you're in a good mood, you can't be more tolerable. And the other day you're grumpy and you're tired, you're less tired. Like, it has to be, here's the expectation. I stick to it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's it.
It's got to be consistent.
Because, dude, kids, they pick up on that shit.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Yeah.
Way, like you were just saying, I'm just repeating it. It's what you're tolerating. And once kids realize it, they can push the line a little bit. They're like sharks, man. They smell blood in the water.
Yeah.
And they're like, they're just going to keep, I got away with it yesterday. Let's try it again today.
Yep.
And then you confuse the kids. It's not good for them to learn either. Because they got away with it one day, and then the next day they didn't get away with it. They don't know what to, your expectations are changing for them. You keep moving the goalpost, and they can't get in rhythm or get in sync.
Yeah.
And then it's frustrating for them. They're like, oh man, Coach James let me do it this time, but now I'm over here doing push-ups. This guy's such a dick.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. It really is tough.
But yeah, at the end of the day, just knowing what your goal is. And I think that's the important thing, is understanding that that's the goal. Like, whatever X is. And again, I try something, and if that's not working, then I try something else.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it has to be like, look, here's the standards. When those standards aren't met, it's not going to be tolerated, and here's what's going to happen.
Yeah. And
so, yeah, for me, and we were talking about it. Kevin actually, mentioned it last night, because he was asking me how classes were going. I was like, man, I got a good high-spirited kid in class that keeps me on my toes, and he's like, yeah, you make him your partner. You have him hang out with you. And I was telling you that, like, I think that's the, like, look, man, you're gonna get a warning, right? And then maybe like 2 warnings or whatever, like 3rd strike, and you're out, and that means that you're gonna be hanging out with me, being my partner. And the reason is you need to see how the other kids are acting. Like, until you learn how to behave, you can't learn jiu-jitsu. Like, everybody else here is here to learn jiu-jitsu, and so that's what. That's the important thing. So until you learn how to behave properly, we can't teach you jiu-jitsu. And so you're going to hang out with me. You're going to see how the kids are behaving. You're going to see what I'm asking to be done, see if you can get a better understanding of it. And that's why. It's not because I don't want, it's not like I don't want you running around and causing problems. No. It's because I can't teach you jiu-jitsu when you're doing that. And that's what we're here to do. And so if I can't do that, then like this isn't going to work. Like, we're not here to just run around, and like, if you just want to go burn energy somewhere, that's great, but you can go
in the parking lot and
run circles. You can go to the freaking silo and jump around on trampolines. Like, there's a million options for just like unstructured playtime. But here, this is structured,
structured activity.
It's a structured activity, man. We're here to learn and try and improve at something. And so that has to be the goal. And again, I think that if you approach the situation with that attitude, it's my way or the highway. You're breaking my rules, and here's your punishment. It's like, no. Look, man, here's why these rules are here. Like, I can't do what everybody's here to do until you learn how to follow these rules. And so that's why I'm going to not tolerate you breaking those rules. And so, and again, at the end of the day, if we can't figure it out, then you can't help everyone.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I can't let the focus of one kid who, for whatever reasons, is not able to understand how to behave, continually affect the rest of the class.
It's taken away from all the other kids' experience.
Exactly, man. Like, that was one of the things that really... I when I observe kids programs, whether it's jiu-jitsu or fitness coaching or any sport, right? You watch any sport, you got a kids program going, and like, the most frustrating thing is when it seems like the coach is spending more time reprimanding and getting on to the kids who aren't behaving than spending time trying to help and improve the kids that are behaving and are there to learn. And it's so easy because you've got this it's this kid is, the kids that are misbehaving are in your face, and they're calling for that attention. And so it's very easy to forget, like, oh yeah, all the attention that I'm giving that kid is attention that I'm not giving to the other kids? And is that fair? Like, is there a disproportionate amount of attention going into this? And that's where, like, you got to figure out, like, all right, I need systems that help me mitigate this.
Yep.
And, you know, like you said, there's always that nuclear option of like, look, man, when you're ready to behave, you can come back to the class. But right now, things aren't working out. And you may just need to take a break from doing jiu-jitsu for a bit until you can figure out how to behave and come back and try it again. But I don't want to... That's my goal. Is it's like I don't want kids feeling like, you know, they're just being punished and they don't understand why, and this isn't fun anymore, and so,
you know, and I think that'll do for a good majority of kids. That'll work out great. You know, like if they know why. It's not just my way or the highway.
Yeah.
Because the adult said so. You explain to them why. Hey, we're all here to do this. This is what I expect. You can't get into that groove. Yeah, then you have the nuclear option. In this case, would be you're my helper until you can sort this out. And then there's gonna be times or kids that just can't get on board, and we're not child psychology specialists. And then that's when you talk to the parents, like, okay, listen, like I'm trying my best. These are the options I have in place, and it's still not working for your kid.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. But it's detracting from all my other students. You got to get your kid in line, whatever that means. But he's too disruptive to my class.
Yeah.
Until we get, this has to get straightened out. And I'm sorry, I'm not an expert in this. I've used all my tools in my toolbox. Your kid is your responsibility. You got to straighten this out. And there's going to be times where that happens.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
But
that is, and I've seen that in martial arts, and I've been basically martial arts since I've been 5 years old.
Yeah,
and I've seen that happen.
Yep.
And there may come a time where that'll be.
Yeah.
And then the parents may really understand and appreciate that. Like, okay, I get it. We'll give us things to work on. And other parents might get really offended. Oh, these guys suck. They don't know how to teach kids.
Yeah, yep. Who are they to tell me?
Who are they to tell? Yeah, they're not telling me how to
or,
parent.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And you may lose a student, but
yep,
that happens.
Yeah, no, it's not. That's the thing. I'm not worried about losing a student as much as failing a kid.
Right.
Like that's really student. They'll come and go. I understand that, but I want to make sure that I do everything that I can to not fail a kid who could really use, because we were talking about, like, this is the kind of kid who can really use martial arts. Like, if we can get him on board and teach him how to act, and he starts to see the discipline has positive side effects on things and gets behind it, like, this is the kind of kid that, looks back in 10, 20 years and is like, fuck, man.
That change, I mean, you could, not to make it more grandiose than it is, but, man, like, you can have such a positive impact that could basically change the course of this kid's life.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, look at your karate coach, or what you got into, and you were 5. I mean, it
definitely had an impact as to where I am at right now at 40 years old.
Yeah.
So it's important. You can't take it lightly.
No. Yeah.
And I don't see you not taking it lightly. Like, we're talking about it. You're thinking a lot about it because you're getting presented with this challenge early on. Like, first week of classes.
I'm glad.
All of a sudden it's like, here you go.
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. No, it's good to have to deal with it early, but it is definitely a little bit of a challenge. But I mean, yeah, you hate to say you don't want to give up on anyone, and I don't even know if that's what it is, but man, even in running a fitness facility, I remember there were clients that it was just like, man, this is just not working out. Like, you're just not a good fit for the culture here. Like, you need to go find something else to do. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing, is like with this kid, like, if you're not ready for martial arts, if you just need to go somewhere and burn energy, like, you have so many options. There's so many sports. There's so many different options for you to do. If you want to do jiu-jitsu and you want to do martial arts, then you need to get behind the way to behave so you can do it. But jiu-jitsu may not be a good fit for you, right?
It's not a good fit for everybody.
It's not a good fit for everyone. Yeah, it is for jiu-jitsu is for everyone.
But it's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone. Yeah, we know that. And that's, the same thing. So with the kids, you see that with adults and stuff. Mm-hmm. But, we'll see how it goes. But it'll be
good to see how it goes.
It'll be good.
I'm interested to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, no, me too. And then, juggling how to coach kids. I got online and came up with, I got like a fucking list of jiu-jitsu games. And, the idea is like games that develop some of the basic skills and stuff that you need in jiu-jitsu, because I don't know, I could be wrong, but I feel that up until about, I'd say like 12 years old, give or take, most kids aren't going to remember a whole lot of technique. They're going to remember position. They don't know how to get the mount. Like it seems like all the kids at Grand Valley know mount, right? They don't necessarily they don't necessarily understand side control. A lot of them like skip, crocodile control, but anyways, they understand positions. And then if you train long enough, you'll start to understand like, oh, when I'm in mount, here's a Kimura or an Americana, or they're giving me an arm bar. So, they'll start to develop like that, but you're not teaching that kid spider guard and they're remembering techniques. It's got to be very, surface level with what you're teaching them. And so
you almost kind of like gotta teach them without teaching them. You gotta teach them. You gotta teach them without them realizing you're actually teaching them something.
Right, yeah. So you're balancing, that's where the games come in. And so you're balancing, I do need to teach them some technique, right? I do think that's important, because showing them how to get out of mount, like there is some technique to doing that. And I need to show you how to do that, or you're not going to figure this out. So we do need to go over some basic techniques and positions. But a lot of what, if you can do it, you're going to, is through these structured games that allow them to develop, the skills and stuff. And so yeah, that's what I'm playing with right now, is trying to play with the games. We had one where you were using, on the video they were using inner tubes, and so I was using like the bands, like the big strength bands that we use for like banded isometrics or whatever. And so you would have like the kids, one would put it around his waist, and the other kid would lay down hanging onto it on his belly. And then the kid, who was standing up would like, run down the mat and like drag the other kid. And man, that's like good, like for, driving forward and learning how to lean and drive in. Like a lot of kids don't know how to necessarily run and do that. So, it's a good drill. And then we had one where they had the around the waist, but you're in like your bear crawl position. And so, or no, baby crawl, like on all fours, hands and knees. And they were like, butts facing each other. And then you had the band around their hips. And so then we would do a tug of war from that position and see who could, touch the cone on the other side. And so, again, like staying low and driving. And so, a lot of what you're trying to do with kids is just develop like their movement vocabulary and these gross motor skills, as opposed to like fine-tuned technique and stuff. And so, but yeah, the bands were one I had to make a note on. I got to make a note that if you're being dragged and you let go of the band and you smack your partner in the ass with the band, that you got to do like 10 push-ups. There has to be some sort of punishment, some sort of motivation for not letting go of the band. Yeah, like you can't let go. I don't know why, man. I never even thought about it. Like one of the kids was going and and they're having fun, man. They're laughing, and another kid, he didn't just let go. He lost it with one hand, and he's hanging on with one hand, and then he like lost it with that hand, and the other kid's just like trucking and going for it, and all of a sudden like there's no tension, and he stands up, whoosh, right in the ass. He looked it over, it's like, what the hell, man? It's like, okay, right on, note to self.
Don't let go of band.
Don't let go of band. Make sure there's a rule about that. So yeah, no, that's the, again, kind of that balance with the kids class is like, I need some technique, but
it's got to be fun.
It's got to be fun. It's got to be, I think the games are definitely a good way to go. Man,
how long are you running the kids? Is it 45-minute class?
It's less than an hour, somewhere in like the 50, like around like 50 minutes, I'll call it. And then by the time everybody gets their gis back on and lined up and we get out of class, it's, like 5 minutes till, so a little less than an hour. And that seems to be about, the kids start to,
they can only pay attention.
Yeah, it's the same context. We're doing different stuff, but it's like it's the same context, and so they're ready to go do something else. And you got your kids who are like tired of the gi tops, And it's funny because you're like, gotta keep it on. It's like, dude, I know how you feel though, man. The first year of jiu-jitsu, like that, 50% of jiu-jitsu is just getting used to that goddamn gi top, man. It's so fucking hot.
That's funny,
it doesn't
man.
breathe.
It was never an issue. Like, being that I grew up in martial arts, I always dug my karate gi as a kid. Like, I thought it was the coolest fucking thing in the world, man.
Yeah.
And then so when I was an adult, started doing jiu-jitsu, I was so pumped. Like, yes, I get to wear a gi again. I love it. Like, I'd wear that thing all the time. Like,
no, it's hot.
It's hot.
No, but it's like if you're not like getting used to it doesn't breathe. We live in a world where it's like, dude, you go to the gym and it's like everyone's got moisture wicking, heat. Like all of the tech, like it is anti-tech. Mm-hmm. Like everything you wear today is
to keep you as comfortable
as possible and as cool as possible. So like I'm coming from mountain biking where it's like, all the fabrics and everything are to keep you cool and then you fucking throw this heavy ass thing on that doesn't breathe. Like I say, it's anti-tech. And it does take like getting used to if you're not used to it. So it's totally normal. It's like, so it is a little bit of a mental battle at first. You're just like so goddamn hot and you're just breathing and somebody's on top of you and won't stop just fucking putting on pressure and grabbing shit and you're just like, oh man. So but that's what makes it
that's what makes it good.
It makes it good, man.
Struggle. Yeah,
you get through that after fucking 6 months to a year. It's like, fuck yeah, that shit, man. I love my gi top.
I love it.
Yeah, the gi's what evens things out, man. You get the wrestlers in there and put a gi top on them and
slows them right down.
Totally different ballgame, getting some grips and stuff. So, but yeah, we did do our no gi class. We did the self-defense stuff. Part of it is because I want to make sure Keila knew what it was as we were doing it. It's just her, Shiloh, good old Brandon.
The guy looks like me.
Yep, exactly. Yep, and
he's a slightly less handsome version of me.
Yes, yeah. But anyways, yeah, it was just us four, and so we went through that, and it's good. It's good stuff, man. It's funny. Like I've only been through it a few times, but man, there's something to just you do it and you drill it and it's there. Like you do kind of get that muscle memory baked in. And
well, that's what I say with that curriculum. I started building like I really like the idea of just having so obviously some self-defense techniques, knowing a few just core ones, and then making that part of the warm-up for an adult class. Gi, no gi, whatever. Just make this part of it because you can do some moves that are not terribly physically taxing, but they get you warmed up and then get you, like today you're escaping from the bear hug for the warm up. We're doing the headlock escape today.
Yeah.
There you go. Do some reps back and forth, and there's definitely value to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was. It's not fun and flashy, but.
Nope. Did you? I gotta show you guys the one of the most fun ones. It's a little more advanced. It's not really advanced, but in it could be, is like one of the headlock escapes to where you roll forward and you roll underneath them and roll them. It's a fun one.
No,
I'll show you guys today in class. Yeah. It's a fun one to learn because there's like a progression. You get the old bully headlock to where like they're punching you in the face.
Yeah.
Like schoolyard headlock.
Yep.
You get like I always call it like the deadlift escape, and then there's the other one, like if the deadlift escape doesn't work, the roll under. They work really, and they're fun.
Yeah.
And it teaches the other person how to break fall. It teaches you how to roll, and then you're still stuck in the headlock sometimes when you land. So then it teaches you a good escape there. Like it's really good.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll play with it today.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this would be good.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Nice. What the fuck do I got here? I had some shit for you. Oh, I got two things. One, an idea that Kelly and I had, cry yoga. Everybody's into heated yoga. Fuck that shit. We need cryotherapy yoga.
Go outside. It was fucking 15 degrees this morning when I was outside walking my dog.
Man.
Yoga out there.
Yeah. That should be everybody's into cryotherapy these days. Like, why not do
cry yoga? Could be onto something.
So it's anyways, the idea came when we got our yoga mats from out in the garage to do our yoga for BJJ routine, and they're fucking freezing, man. It's like 17 degrees outside, so that garage is pretty cold. And I was like, man, we should make a mat that you as it, charges and gets all cold. And that should be the thing. It's cryoga. You're on a fucking cooled off, cold mat, so you're getting some cryotherapy.
I'm gonna guess there's a reason as to why that's not a thing, but you never know.
Well, I'm going to guess it's because old Bikram couldn't dance around in his mankini.
It doesn't bode well for the mankini.
No, if you go for cryoga, it's definitely not good for the mankini situation.
But see, what would be the desired outfit for cryoga? So do you bundle up in a goddamn snowsuit so you're warm? Or are you expected to wear the mankini so you are in the elements? Dealing with the cold. What is the...
You're dealing with your fire. I think that as you ascend levels, because obviously this is going to be a cult.
Ranked mankinis.
Ranked mankinis, yes!
Ranked mankinis.
Oh man, that'll be great. Well, you got to get to them I think that when you start, you're going to start with clothes on, right? And then more clothes come off as you progress, and then you get to your mankini phase, and then you're going to get your degrees, right? It'll be like getting your degrees on your black belt. You'll get.
Dude, this is such a good cult thing too, because if you're
mankinis.
creating a cult, obviously like the end result is to have sex with everybody else's women. And to have all the women have sex with you, starting a cult. That's it. Let's not bullshit anybody here. And so, if you put the ascending hierarchy of your cryoga is to wear less and less clothes, and so you just get people into thinking like once you hit like cryoga enlightenment, you should be doing this naked.
Yes.
Or damn close to it.
Damn close to it.
Man, this is a beautiful system.
Right. See, Bikram just went straight to it. He just made the room hot as fuck and said, y'all just take off as many clothes as you need.
Yeah, I think
I am too.
He was missing it though.
Yeah.
You need to get people on board to like, so you're in class and you're fully clothed, but 3 mats down.
Well, he ruined it for that theory. So now you got to come at it we got to come at it backwards, because people are expecting that when they walk into a hot room and it's like, oh, I see what this guy's doing. He just wants to see me in my, my mankini or whatever.
Right.
And it's like, no. So now you come in and you almost feel like they don't want to see you in less clothing, and you have to push the issue and earn it.
You have to earn the right.
You got to test for your next level. Yeah.
Yes.
Like the fucking cryoga casting couch.
Yes.
Come test for your next level of no clothing.
Dude, we're on to something. Oh man.
So,
we're going to revolutionize the yoga industry right here.
Right here, man.
You guys heard it first.
That's right. So
we need to shame people. They'll be embarrassed to be wearing clothes.
Yeah.
If we set this standard.
That's right. I mean, dude, we can get Wim Hof on board with this. He'll be our Bikram, because he'll walk around in mankini and the cold. He's been training for this his whole life. He's just been looking for the proper outlet. He thought it was breathing and helping people. It's like, no. Let's start a cult, bro.
Start a cult.
You've been doing it all wrong.
All wrong, bro.
Cryoga.
Wrong motivation.
Cryoga by Wim Hof. So, it would sell. If he came out with that, it would fucking sell, dude.
Yeah, boy. For sure.
Hell yeah.
I like the ranked mankini idea, though.
Yeah,
I got to think about this some more.
We're going to have to figure out if there's a way to, patent that idea.
We better get on to it. We got a week before this episode comes out.
Contact my patent attorney and run that by her. She's like, don't ever email me again.
You get a restraining order. She doesn't respond. You just get a restraint. You get served papers the next day.
We make up some mock-ups and take pictures and send them to her.
Oh, no.
Oh, man. Yeah, that'd probably get us in trouble.
It could.
So.
Anyway.
All right. So we'll... cryoga, man. You guys heard it here first.
Yep.
So,
man.
This idea. Yeah. So on a slightly more serious note, I was surfing around the internet looking for something interesting to talk about, and I came across a hydrofoil e-bike.
I am pretty sure I've seen these.
Seen this thing? It's like a bike that they ride across the water.
These things are badass.
Dude, it's crazy.
I want to buy one. I've considered it.
Yeah, I want to buy one because it would be an indicator of how much just fucking extra money that I have, more than I actually want one. Exactly. By the time I got to that point in life,
man, zipping around, freaking Snook's bottom on that thing.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. Dude, that would trip people out, man. Put that on Snook's bottom, that'd be fucking hilarious. It'd be from one end to the other in a minute.
I know.
But anyways, yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting. it was cool. So I'm glad you've seen it.
I have seen it.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've seen it. I don't know if exactly what you're talking about, but I bet you I have.
I don't think there's more than one.
I don't. You never know. There's a lot of
I
crazy
guess
people
so.
out there, man.
Yeah.
I'm always interested in those cool little toys or gadgets.
Yeah.
Obviously, I got that fucking one wheel, electric skateboard, and this or that. So yeah.
They're coming out with glasses that you can wear that will give you like a little mini type heads up display for when you're riding, and so it'll tell you like how fast you're going, and if you're following like like one I read is like gonna have like a collision detector.
So this is separate from the the hydro. Okay, we're talking about something else.
Yeah, we're talking about something else.
Oh, so for like mountain biking?
Just for like, we were just talking about like tech shit. Sorry.
Okay.
I took a hard left off of like your comment about I love that tech shit.
I got you.
And it was like, oh yeah, man. Well, like so in that tech vein,
they've had those. I haven't looked recently, but there was a few years back. There were some ski goggles. That they had that, so you put these goggles on, and they got a heads-up display in there with like speed, and I don't know what else. I mean, they were expensive. Yeah. And I'm talking like $1,000 expensive for a pair of ski goggles, but they're like smart goggles, and they got all these readings and shit on there. Of course, I was like, oh, that is pretty fucking cool.
It's pretty fucking cool. I mean, how practical?
Not at all.
Is it necessarily? Yeah, it's solving a bunch of problems that don't really exist.
Need to be solved.
And then you're, taking away for like your peripheral vision's like being used to monitor stuff, and so and then the fucking spam people will hack your glasses, and you'll be riding along, and all of a sudden you'll get like
commercial.
Click here for whatever. It's like, God damn it!
Pop-up window causes you to eat shit.
Fuck yeah, man. So. Anyways, that shit's interesting. So, I didn't have anything else that I found too interesting online. I did have a thought, though. I had a jiu-jitsu equation I wanted to run by you. Get your thoughts. We were trying to turn jiu-jitsu into an equation.
Okay.
So, we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but like position plus reaction equals technique choice.
Okay.
And so, but you can see what I said. It sounds like, okay, it sounds self-explanatory. But then you start to see, like, if you don't understand that, like, technique choice is a result of position plus reaction, then you miss a lot, right? Because, it's just position. Once I'm in this position, I'm going to go for the technique without regarding the reaction, or not really understanding the position that you have to go for the technique in the first place. And so, like, really, those core fundamental things is position, and then their reaction, and then that's gonna tell you what the proper technique to use is. And
no, I think there actually, all joking aside, I think there's some value to that, because you can, once you have that frame, that mindset, and then you go watch people train, you can clearly see that there's people always that just try to force what they want to do. They're not waiting for the best opportunity, the best time to do it. They're just trying to bulldoze their way through it. Yeah. And so they're not using that equation. They're just I'm going to do this, as opposed to relaxing a little bit and waiting for the best opportunity to do it. Like, there it is. There it is. So I think there's actually quite a bit of value in that.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I thought there was. I was thinking about it, and but when I was talking with what was it? I think it was just like going off the pit stop and talking about, like, you have to get in a position, and then you have to look at what their reaction is, because another good thing is, like, dude, if they start to stack as a reaction to you setting up an arm bar, man, you continuing to try to throw that arm bar is just, it's ridiculous.
Bad idea.
But they're giving you a sweep. They're giving you other things, right? And so, like, I jokingly said, I was like, dude, purple belts, man, we make a fucking career. We make a living off of white belts and blue belts not understanding this equation. And you guys get us in trouble, and then you make a mistake because you don't, really understand this position plus reaction equation. and you're going for a technique, and you don't really secure the position, or I'm giving you a different reaction and that's not really the right choice for that, but you're just like, man, I'm going, and armbar is probably the fucking number one thing, man. Like, they start to get something, and they start throwing for a fucking armbar, and it's like, dude, you didn't have the position for that. I wasn't giving you the reaction for that. And now, you went from like a pretty decent position that you had on me to now I'm on top passing your guard. And, there's a lot of fucking like good, blue belts and, upper level white belts that you're like, man, I'm glad that dude made that fucking mistake, because he had me in trouble there and he just didn't realize it. And so, I think just the earlier on you understand that that's, someone showing you a technique, that's great, but you have to understand the position plus reaction that you're going to use this technique for to really get the most out of the technique, as opposed to like just, we've talked about, you can tell that people just collect techniques because you get them out of that, their lane going for that, and they don't know what to do.
Just kind of flailing.
Yeah, because they're not really looking like, okay, what position am I in? What reaction are they giving me? Now, what options do I have? It's just, it's a problem solving thing. It's not like jiu-jitsu is more about problem solving than imposing your will. And, if you do it right, it looks like imposing your will, because you're definitely creating problems for them that lead them in that direction. But there's a difference between, you giving them, you creating the problem that leads them in that direction versus you just like fucking, I don't know, just like that's going straight ahead. So it's oblique way, right? A little side to side to get around the shit they're putting in front of you versus like smashing through it. And because smashing through it doesn't always work.
No.
So
a lot of times it doesn't.
yeah. But it can work on people.
It can work.
Yeah, but it works on people usually a lot of times who are your level or lower.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you start to realize you run into people who are higher level and you start to question like, fuck, man, like, was this move even legitimate in the first place?
So then I catch myself. I was getting frustrated last night with Kevin whooping my ass. Well, I don't know why. I mean, he whoops my ass all the time. But and then I catch myself resorting to like smash level. Like I said, I didn't have a ton in the gas tank, so I wasn't like aggressively smash level. But I catch myself doing things, like grabbing a collar and just ripping it around, And he even brought it up afterwards. I was like, I know, man. I'm just getting frustrated. This goddamn passing sequence is just fucking killing me. But I resort to that fucking ripping shit around. Just the frustration kicks in.
Yeah, man.
So
it happens.
It does.
It does happen. So yeah. Well, anyway, it's cool. I'm glad you thought it was good.
No, actually, I think it's really good.
So cool. Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to, like I said, I think that's at the heart of what I'm trying to do with the classes at Fruta BJJ is like.
I mean, I think it's good enough to where like if you had a cool little poster, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you had some sort of like, extreme, like you could just have that typed up, stuck on the wall. Position plus reaction equals technique. Or something like something like that.
Choice, yeah.
Yeah, technique choice. You could come up with a cool little poster with like Einstein in one corner and Hickson in the other corner. I think my mind's going like I could see it.
Like, hell yeah, man.
I think it's pretty valuable. You
Cool.
get people thinking like that.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not gonna hurt them in any way, shape, or form.
No.
Think like that.
No, I think that was the whole point. I think it's like that's because we talk about like how do you I got to show you techniques. Right, I can't just teach principles.
You got to start somewhere.
I got to start somewhere. I got to show you techniques, but I have to figure out a way to continue to get the message across that like you got to look for more than just the technique. Like what's behind the technique, and what are the principles behind it. So cool. I think it's a fucking good one, man.
That's good.
Yeah. So podcast what?
Nope. He ran away.
Oh, did he? Oh, what do we got here?
Oh no.
There's two more things about my Mega Venusaur X.
Uh-oh. We got one more quick Pokemon update.
Yep. Two more things about my Mega Venusaur X. First, there's a Mega Evolution rule. It says, when one of your Pokemon becomes a Mega Evolution Pokemon, your turn ends. And this is a an ultra rare card.
Man. Cool, dude. Well,
dude, you're looking good, man. I like the corduroy pants and the Nike shirt.
Yep.
Man, you're gonna go out and get all the ladies today.
Well, he's gonna have to get changed for jiu-jitsu here in a minute. But then he's gonna look all handsome in his jiu-jitsu gi with his new
belt,
gray and white belt.
Yep.
And then
you know what I'm excited about, Z?
What?
I'm coming up on 3 years of being a black belt. I'll be getting a stripe on my black belt.
Woo,
In
man.
theory.
First degree, Professor Rob. Professore, that's right. Remember when we first
3 years
started
ago.
this podcast, man, you were a pretty, like, new black belt, and we were, because we've been doing this for over 2 years, man.
2 years. And
Yeah.
I'm coming up on 3 years.
3 years, so yeah, it was, that's funny, man, yeah, that's interesting.
When you get to my age, you don't get promoted very often.
Nope. It's
So
all right.
It's still, let me tell you, it never is not exciting.
Yeah.
Gravity is a myth.
I think it's true.
It is true. That's what my mountain biking adventures have taught me. It is real, whether it's pulling you down or pushing you down. I'm not sure, but yeah. So it isn't quite a myth. But no, we were talking about. I think I don't know, just with the stripe thing, like. Yeah, it doesn't, like, the stripes and the belts don't matter, but they do represent something. And, like, that's what's important. And so, like, you're not worried about it, but it is nice to get the recognition for the time and the effort. It does represent something. It does.
It's still cool. Like,
Yeah.
it's shit. Like, I've been at this how long to when I'm talking about a tiny little stripe on my black belt.
Yeah.
To where there's part of it that is still kind of cool.
Yeah. No, man, it is. Like, I've talked about it in the past, and, it is, or we have, as far as, like, it doesn't matter, and you shouldn't focus on it and all that, but then it gets taken to an extreme too far, right, where it's like, well, you do, as a coach, like, you do owe it to your students to recognize their efforts. And the traditional way in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, like, that's the only reason belts exist. If there wasn't some sort of traditional structured way to basically recognize people's time and effort, we wouldn't have belts. You just get a belt when you started, and that would be fucking it. That'd be it. But the whole point of the belt system is to, recognize that time and effort. And so, it does exist, and so there is a reason for it. But so anyways, yeah, that's, you don't want to encourage a culture of people chasing belts and stripes, but
you don't want to downplay it either.
Right.
Yeah, because it'd be super, the super cool or easy thing for me to do is like, yeah, who cares? Yeah, I got a stripe coming. But it is still kind of cool.
Yeah, man.
Whatever.
Yeah, it does represent something, so that is cool.
All right. I say we call it a wrap.
Yeah, man. Go eat a piece of bread and...
Also, this Pokemon card was made 4 years ago.
Oh, okay. Wow. Cool. How old were you 4 years ago?
2.
Good job, buddy.
Heck yeah, man. Good.
Wait, when's your birthday again?
February 17th.
I knew it was coming up.
Coming up. That's right.
Man, February 17th. I'd have to look at mine. No, speaking of being promoted, I got to look at my black belt certificate. That's pretty dang close to the same day.
Is it?
Yeah, I'd have to look. Now you say that, it really rings a bell. I'd have to. Maybe it was earlier in February. No, I can't remember.
Huh.
But anyways, random. Sorry. But
No.
cool.
All right. Well, that's it for today.
All right. See you.
Good train. See you.
Bye. Thank you for listening to the Grumpy Guy BJJ Podcast.
Thank you all for listening. You can find us on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Please make sure to subscribe and leave us a review. It really does help and will allow us to keep putting out episodes. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, hit us up at grumpyguybjj@gmail.com. Also, go to our website, grumpyguybjj.com, and get signed up for podcast updates and get our free BJJ Improvement Starter Kit. That's it for now, so get on the mat, train hard, and talk to you all next week.
With a permanent friend, a hermit now, boom. Doggy, stool, foggy, cool, got a froggy, outside Molly, dude. Melvin, Colin, Daisy, dude. Hanging by the lace, they shoes. No trace of the tools, shaped in your face, fuck the rules. Snooze, you lose. One eye always open, at times two. No clue, but soon a brief monsoon might give you a view to choose. Stay tuned, include, won't conclude. To the end is near, beware there's consequences for what you do. To me, a demon, a devil of many levels. I keep on feeding for several of them rebels. Me, myself, and I. Me, myself, and I.